rescue 4-year-old water buffalo joined in the Ormoc Great Love Village pilgrimage with the villagers. China Tzu Chi volunteers head back to Qinghai to conduct follow-up home visits in aftermath of the snowstorm. Welcome to DaAi Headlines and Lori Chen. Thank you for joining us. There's a rescued 4-year-old water buffalo named Alfreda at the Ormoc Great Love Village in the Philippines. Not only does she have a special relationship with the villagers, but she actively participated in the recent pilgrimage. Can you believe it? She was walking 3 steps and kneeling down to prostrate just like everyone else. Let's go meet this Bodhisattva.
Listening to master's instruction, the buffalo kneels down and her chin also touches the ground. It's like the posture of worshipping the Buddha. To celebrate the 53rd anniversary of Tzu Chi, Ormoc Great Love villagers have held a pilgrimage.
I wish Dharma Master Zheng Yan good health.
The name of this buffalo is Alfreda. Virgilio had adopted her from a Tzu Chi volunteer. He keeps the buffalo on the land that his parents have left, and he built a sheet metal house in order to take care of her.
In the beginning, I thought about after adopting this buffalo, she can help me with the farming as well as the other villagers. Since Alfreda is still young and she is not in use to the plows yet, she hasn't started helping us, so we need to train her later on.
Although Alfreda is not ready to help with the farming, but Virgilio has been training her as she kneels down the day of pilgrimage. This had left a deep impression on Tzu Chi volunteers.
I think Tzu Chi is a great organization. I hope Alfreda can have good manners just like the volunteers. This is why I taught her to kneel down and brought her to the pilgrimage. I believe all the living creatures have spiritual values.
As we can see, the relationship between Virgilio and Alfreda is very special. In addition, he plants all kinds of fruits and vegetables with his wife, and they have shared them with the neighbors.
We'll pick up the bananas from Virgilio. He doesn't get annoyed and he will ask if it is enough for us. He's a good person. After seeing him grow all kinds of fruits and vegetables, we were inspired and started to plant them as well.
After moving into the Great Love Village, Virgilio has devoted himself to farming. Besides being a content person, he also inspires others to develop their self-reliance.
Speaking of pilgrimages, the Tzu Chi UK Liaison office held their first ever pilgrimage back in 2017. However, not many people showed up the first year. Despite that, the volunteers never gave up their initial aspirations. So this year, many more participants joined in the dignified event.
Bow and pay respect to the Buddha. These volunteers are practicing the procedures for the pilgrimage. Tzu Chi UK Liaison Office seized the Eastern holiday to host a humanistic culture camp, as well as the annual pilgrimage to celebrate Tzu Chi's 53rd anniversary.
Our line is very long, and this might be the time with the most participants in our history here. The weather is very nice.
Their first pilgrimage on 2017 only has 11 participants. This year is the 3rd time they climbed the Malvern Hill, and 32 people joined, challenging themselves.
In the beginning, my body was very heavy. Gradually, I felt lighter.
Every chant of Buddhist scriptures makes up for some words I have said mistakenly. I thought it makes a big difference what you speak out of your mouth.
Many overseas volunteers also seized the rare opportunity to join the pilgrimage.
This is my first time to join the pilgrimage in the UK, and I'm deeply touched.
It feels great, and it's very unique because we really climb step by step onto the hill for this pilgrimage.
This year there was more abundant rain, so the ground is softer to walk on. However, volunteers purposely took a short rocky road in the middle of the journey to cultivate strength.
I tried to experience how Dharma Master Zheng Yan conquered all of the difficulties when building the hospitals. The journey has inspired some positive thoughts in me and planted seeds of goodness in my heart. It's a shocking experience for me.
After the pilgrimage, my worries have lessened. I'll continue to be better. Go, go, go.
In Malaysia, the Ministry of Housing and the local government held a seminar to discuss various ways to better develop new villages. Tzu Chi was invited as a representative on the experts panel. What an honor!
Representatives of Chinese new villages in Malaysia have come to attend the Chinese New Village Leader Training meeting held by Ministry of Housing and Local Government. There are more than 600 Chinese new villages in Malaysia. The meeting organizer has invited experts, including Tzu Chi, to talk about ways to develop the Chinese new villages.
There's a problem of recycling resources in the Chinese new villages. We shared the example of the Pulau Ketam with them. They also think that this is a very good example of how the villagers work with Tzu Chi volunteers.
Seeing the success of Tzu Chi cases, someone encouraged the village committees to work with Tzu Chi.
We can work with Tzu Chi. We can turn our meeting hall into a recycling center for Tzu Chi. This way, our environment will become better and the relationship between villagers will become more harmonious.
We can ask our village committee to store the recyclables. We have a huge bucket there. Then Tzu Chi volunteers can come and process the recyclables in the third week of every month. We encourage the village committees to take such actions.
We have planned to promote such acts of recycling this time. We especially need to do a good job processing garbage.
Over the course of 2 days, other Chinese new villages showcased the fruit of their hard work. They hope to work together with Tzu Chi to protect the environment and unite the villagers.
In line with Taiwan's new southbound policy, the medical staff of the Hualien Tzu Chi Medical Center traveled to the Philippines to hold a series of medical forums. At the 2019 Organ Transplantation and Applications of ECMO Forum, medical professionals from the two countries exchanged their experiences, hoping to improve the medical standards in the Philippines.
A medical forum to facilitate exchanges between Taiwan and the Philippines took off at the Buddhist Tzu Chi Eye Center in Manila. In line with Taiwan's new southbound policy, 6 Taiwanese medical centers were tasked to work with 6 different countries. The Hualien Tzu Chi Medical Center was assigned to work with the medical professionals in Manila.
The Hualien Tzu Chi Medical Center is acting as a platform that introduces Taiwan's advanced medical professionals and medical know-hows to the Philippines. We also hope to be of service in helping the Filipinos with their medical services and improve their standards.
This is a very significant medical program that will beneficial to a lot of people, since it will definitely help improve the quality of health care in the countries.
This is really a great initiative of Taiwan to offer this support both in the academic as well as scientific part of medicine.
Hualien Tzu Chi Medical Center's Cardiovascular Surgery Division Director Dr. Zhang Ruizhi gives his sincere advice to the foreign attendees.
So I think the most important thing to have is to set up a ECMO core team. The core team can have those physicians like a cardiologist, like a pulmonologist, intensive care units, doctors.
Besides promoting the use of ECMO to save patients with life-threatening heart or lung problems, there is also the need to promote organ donation as a whole.
Because our main problems here are lack of organ donors, the cost is quite expensive, and of course yung ating organ donation program hindi ba very well developed, at saka knowledge of the public.
The medical experts from Taiwan exchanged their experiences with the medical professionals in the Philippines. They hope to work together to better safeguard the health of more patients.
In the aftermath of the snowstorm in Qinghai, China Tzu Chi volunteers have traveled back there again to provide love and care to the herdsmen. They went door to door to see how the affected residents are doing at the present moment.
On this trip, one sees the blue sky and the clouds and fog. As one climbs higher, they also see how the snow melts. This is a glimpse of the climate in Qinghai, China. Last time, city volunteers rushed to deliver life-saving food. This time, they went there again with much care and thoughts. The child is half asleep, holding on to the milk bottle.
Okay,
The volunteers heat up water to wash the child's face and hands.
一会儿给妹妹洗。好，等一下。哎呀，房子也不属于他的。来，我们3、2。
The father lives off the grassland, and he has never thought of sending his child to school.
要带他去读书，你也是要去读书哈，跟叔叔打勾勾。
Another herdsman family is preparing to make zaba with highland barley given by Tzu Chi and sugar. The 7-year-old girl makes a poem on the spot after using the zaba.
I eat sampa every day. We can buy sampa, which is delicious. After I grow up, I will become a teacher.
The tea leaves include his tea and the tea you gave him. The tea you gave him is extremely good.
The 83-year-old grandmother has not eaten the highland barley given by Tzu Chi volunteers.
The grandma has saved the highland barley. She first ate the barley with the substandard quality. She saves the barley with good quality to be consumed later.
While food will eventually be consumed, love and care provided by Tzu Chi volunteers will continue to warm the residents' hearts.
Tzu Chi's disaster relief teams have been actively helping the affected residents in Mozambique ever since Cyclone Idai hit. Now it has entered its mid to long-term stage where construction of homes, schools, and hospitals are in the planning stages. However, the most pressing issue at hand right now is convincing the remaining residents at the Buzi village to relocate to Kuala Kuala. Looking at the bumpy, muddy road, there doesn't seem to be an end in sight. However, it can still be driven on. When Cyclone Idai struck, the entire road was submerged and gone within minutes. At the time, helicopters and boats were the only ways rescue workers can get to the affected areas. This time around, even a hippo decided to come say hello. Buzi village is located at the lower end of the river. It's about 20 kilometers from the river mouth. So here lies a very vast plain. It's also because of the geology of the area, the river burst its banks when Cyclone Idai hit. It resulted in massive flooding, making Buzi village the most affected area in Sofala.
Infelizmente tinham velhotas, algumas pessoas ilesos, são muletas com deficiências.
We had many elderly individuals with mobility difficulties. Many did not even own a cane. So when the water came rushing into the village, not even 2 minutes went by before everything was submerged. There were many people carrying their children on their backs and got stuck in the water and drowned. There were also many people who finally got a hold of something, but the water was too strong, so they were still washed away. Some people climbed onto treetops. Unfortunately, there were many people that passed away that day.
Numa árvore, não é? E o cão terminou a pessoa, comeu. Então, foi algo muito triste. De facto, morreram muitas pessoas, não é?
Building a new home amidst the badly damaged village, the less than 50 square feet home is the husband's promise to his wife. However, it's so small in size that it's a heartbreaking sight.
Pues 500.
I spent a total of $8 in about a week to build this. I bought 30 pieces of various sized wooden sticks. Life is hard, but I figured out a way to build a home for us. I worked really hard to get the materials. I promised that I would get it done. The two of us will work hard and keep moving forward.
Jose and his 2 younger brothers made a temporary shelter for themselves. Inside the shelter, one can see the rescued school books that were once soaked in the flood waters. It is stained with the yellow mud. Even if the living conditions are difficult, he still insists that he must go to school.
Because I hope through getting an education, I can have a chance at a better future.
Many households must be forced to move out of here. For example, the area they were visiting, guided by the administrator Buzi, isn't a safe area to live in. They're hoping to evacuate and relocate the remaining residents to Kuala Kuala.
Due to Kuala Kuala's terrain being relatively high, it became the perfect evacuation area when Cyclone Qinghai hit. As of right now, there are about 1,500 households here. Some are living in the main shelter area, like this IDP camp filled with tents. Others are living in churches or schools. However, where are they going to reside in the future? This damaged classroom is a temporary home for 14 families. All 65 of them depend on one another, but it is inevitable that there are many issues in such a small living space.
There is not enough space for everyone. When it rains, there are still many places that leak. So all of us would have to squeeze into a corner where there are no leaks.
The resettlement of the affected residents is an urgent task at hand. The administrator of Buzi has already come up with a blueprint. She's planning on relocating at least 1,000 households onto 600 hectares of land. As for the remaining 500 households, she also has found another piece of land for them.
Precisamos de construir hospital muito grande para atender a nós todos.
We need to build a hospital large enough to serve the population. We also need to build schools and water supply and electricity facilities. In addition, we have to help the affected residents rebuild their homes so that they will be willing to relocate to Kuala Kuala. To be frank, right now, there is a still laundry list of things to do. If there are any aid for us, we are deeply grateful.
Nós termos estas coisas que estamos a falar, nós vamos agradecer.
Tzu Chi volunteers headed to the hardest hit disaster area to assess exactly what the affected residents need in terms of aid. The survivors are not alone and will not be left with nothing. Continue our series on the various ways of water-saving measures that the Taiwanese government is putting into place. Today we'll take a closer look at the many reservoirs strategically placed all over the island.
Men, women, and children appeared at Taoyuan's Dashi Sanzhuhu Lake early in the morning. They randomly sampled water in the pond, conducting a water quality test, which is an important task.
Take a look. Do you see it? This shows the amount of dissolved oxygen content in this water. What do I think about the water quality right now? I think that it's not bad.
Including pH value, oxygen content, turbidity, these 3 basic water quality testing actions are undertaken by this water quality patrol. It's no wonder that many believe they are the front line of the Dahan River conservation.
If there's any water quality abnormality, we will immediately notify the authorities.
Taoyuan Dashi Yuanmei Community Water Quality Environmental Patrol has about 30 members aged from 6 to 80 years old. It has been established for 4 years and it patrols the Dahan River from Yumei to Pitang wetlands and other protected areas at least twice a week.
Our Dahan River is very famous for its upstream area, which is a freshwater river that is one of the 3 major tributaries of the Danshui River. We are the main upstream source. From the Shimen Reservoir, it will travel 18 kilometers to the Banxing Water Treatment Plant. This is our section, which is a protected area, as it is a high-quality water reserve, which is used to supply our tap water.
This is a Deputy Patrol Leader Huang Jianyi. He is totally committed to protecting the quality of local water.
The Banxing Water Treatment Plant is responsible for supplying water to Banqiao, Xinzhuang, and Tucheng, and also half of the Taoyuan. You can see how important it is. We are in these locations just above the water treatment plant, which is very important.
Huang Jianyi is 55 years old and was born and raised in Dashi. He received a certification from the Environmental Protection Administration. He is passionate about the environment, the water network, and being an environmental professional.
我们要上去吗？对，上去就好东西哦。好好好。这另外一个世界，另外一个世界。
As soon as he climbs up this embankment, he adjusts the GoPro on his helmet.
What is the benefit of recording the whole process? If someone later asks if the ecology has changed, I'm able to show all of these images. You see everything that I saw and can see all of the landscape changes.
Huang Jianyi continues to record the changes in the hydrological environment of the Dahan River at Yumei for the past 20 years. His perseverance impresses us.
If this is useful one day, I will be happy.
His original intention was quite simple. In fact, Huang Jianyi may have underestimated his own water protection actions. For example, just taking us to the embankment and looking at the river is something that he regularly does. Protecting water resources is an everyday activity for him.
When the typhoon comes, the water from the Simen Reservoir is high in turbidity, and when it arrives at the water treatment plant, it will cause problems because it is too muddy. The quality of the water that is high in turbidity is not good. So what do? They take clean raw water from the upper part of this levee and bring it for processing.
To better understand the relationship between Dahan River at the Yumei section and the Ximen Reservoir and downstream water treatment plant, a closer look is needed. This 18-kilometer section of the river affects the drinking water quality for New Taipei City and northern Taoyuan. Any subtle change in water quality can't be ignored. Protecting this precious water resource relies on everyone in the community. Traveling upstream from here is the Ximen Reservoir. Sand and gravel vehicles come and go, and the dredging operation of Ximen Reservoir is particularly frequent during the dry season each year. Taking a look inside, we see that the dredging doesn't stop even in the heavy rain. The Ximen Reservoir, which was completed in 1964, has been in service for more than half a century. Due to the special topography of Taiwan, it is difficult for the reservoir to avoid sedimentation. The current storage capacity of the Ximen Reservoir has declined by 1/3 as dredging is a top priority.
In order to slow down the siltation of the reservoir, at present the Northern Region Water Resources Office has 3 major actions to stop siltation. The first is a water storage area upstream of the Ximen Reservoir, which is downstream of the Luofu Bridge and upstream of Yixinba, where we carry out dredging work. The second is dredging project at Ximen Reservoir, which you see behind us. This is a dredger carrying out silt in the reservoir area. The third is the anti-siltage tunnel completed in 2013. The anti-silting tunnel has been very effective since its completion.
Dredgers and anti-silting tunnels have led the amount of silt to be dredged annually to reach 2.45 million cubic meters. Environmentally friendly anti-siltation practices are a target of Ximen Reservoir's dredging project in recent years. While reservoir dredging may seem very far away from most people, prolonging the life of a reservoir can ensure our water quality. It can also extend the flood control capacity of the reservoir. From Ximen Reservoir professionals to regional patrol volunteers to local environmentalists, with enthusiasm are all the silent heroes protecting our water supply.
The Tzu Chi Kodak Kinabalu branch has invited community members to participate in the Send Love to Africa initiative. Volunteers reminded everyone that each and every one of us has the ability to help others in our own unique ways. Thank you for watching. See you next time.